So the Buffalo Bills are no stranger to power rankings, right? And oftentimes being top 10 in just about every single rating. But is it fair? Should the Buffalo Bills be ranked where they are collectively? I ultimately ended up running a scan on Sumer Brain, which is like the chat GPT of sports data. And I asked it, what is the Buffalo Bills average power ranking going into NFL Week 8? And you would be surprised to hear that their average is 6. Crazy, right? If you were to ask fans of this team, most of them are Scorn fans that so were cognizant during the 90s Super Bowl loss run. Some are kids, right, who only knew winning. And it's crazy too, right? Because like I've noticed the most negative people, like when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, are either one, it's people that were consciously aware, like in their teenage years or their early 20s, when the Buffalo Bills were on that 4-year Super Bowl run in the 90s. And then also kids that, for the most part, have only known the Buffalo Bills to be successful, for the most part, right? As far as being consistent and being in the playoffs and making it to the AFC championships. Like kids that were born in like 2012 or 2013, like soon as when they ended up getting to like 7, 8 years old, like that was the first time when the Buffalo Bills went to Houston and played ball. Now they're teenagers, right? So all they knew was the Buffalo Bills winning, or at least being a competitive team. It's people right in the middle. It's people that were born in the 90s, that grew up in the drought, that have understood a bit of how much of a difference we've noticed in Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, that rate, in my opinion, are more middle of the road and wait and see type mentality. But regardless of how you feel, let's take a look at a couple of these power rankings and see where the Buffalo Bills are. So the Buffalo Bills on PFF, which is a platform where I think a lot of people respect, right? It's a super wonky type grading system. Some people don't like the scores, some people do. But they have the Buffalo Bills at 5. A much needed bye week allows the Bills to retool after back-to-back losses, but a New England Patriots win against the Titans means the Bills are now half a game behind the AFC East. And it's only a half, by the way, folks. Not a full game, only a half. And the Bills are still the favorites for the division, but they'll need to find quick fixes for a defense that currently ranks 20th in EPA per play allowed. No one is asking for a top 10 unit, but the Bills need to find their way closer to league average post-bye. Man, I feel like the boys at PFF completely took the words out of my mouth. How many times have we been saying this on this channel? Where no one wants the Buffalo Bills to be a top 5 defensive unit, nor do we expect them to be. Just get me average, man. Like, just get me average. Slightly below average, I'm fine with. Go from 32nd in the league from yards per carry to 22nd. Cool. I think that gets it done. And we've sat here and we've sort of diagnosed what is wrong with this team defensively. And I think a lot of anomalies play into the fact that, so the statistics make us look a lot worse because it's looking at the whole game collectively. But when you look at all of the explosive runs that Buffalo has been letting up, like you'll notice that a lot of them are only in the first quarter, right? Second half defense has been much better, like holding both back-to-back opponents to 9 points in the second half. So I think the defense has proven that if they need to, they can step up. But more so was the offense that has taken a bit of a slump, that has taken a bit of a slide for the past 2. Like no one wants our defense to be top 10. And so, I mean, we do, but no one's expecting us to be top 10 this year. But what I am expecting is for us to slowly climb the ladder of mediocrity. Because, folks, with mediocrity has never looked so beautiful. Because when you're dead last in a lot of running metrics, I think that's all we can ask. But number 5 for PFF. In ESPN, we end up moving down and we find the Buffalo Bills at the 6th spot, folks. At the 6th spot. And let's see what ESPN has to say. Unsung may be the wrong word, as the rookie 5th-round pick has received attention for his blocking ability and that he brings the offense. But Hawes started the season as tight end 3 on the depth chart. His emergence has allowed the Bills to run different formations, notably more 13 personnel, 3 tight ends. He has showed up in the passing game with 4 receptions on 4 targets for 54 yards and a touchdown. When asked a couple of weeks ago if Hawes has exceeded expectations, Coach Sean McDermott said, "This was a good pick for us. It's early, but that was a good pick." And this is the Buffalo Bills at 6, right? And we dropped 3 spots recently at number 3 in week 7, even after the loss to the New England Patriots. Them obviously showing a little bit of love to Jackson Hawes, the player here. But like, you'll see this, right? So the Buffalo Bills, again, 5th on PFF, 6th on ESPN. And then you know what? Just for giggles, or for poops and giggles, excuse me, let's go on ahead and see exactly where the Buffalo Bills are on NFL Network. You have the Chiefs at 3, Seahawks at 4, Philadelphia Eagles 7, Bucks at 9. And look at that. You have the Buffalo Bills at 9. And let's see what they say here. This is admittedly an overreaction after ranking the Bills way too high last week. Yes, folks, I heard you, and I'm not going to blame the bleariness from a Monday doubleheader for not dropping Buffalo further last Tuesday. I had slightly baked in the idea that the Bills would be getting so much needed defensive reinforcements, and maybe they sniff around for some trade help. But right now, that's all speculative. What we know, Josh Allen isn't playing at an MVP level, and other offensive pieces aren't doing their part either. For all of the crying about a need for defensive help, I could make just as good of a case for Buffalo could use another wide receiver. Right now, the wideouts are neither winning enough one-on-one battles nor making enough game-changing plays. That's a big worry for a team that's trying to fight its way back into first place with a few tough games ahead. So number 9 is the Buffalo Bills. So what's interesting to me is let's figure out a way where I think, or where Buffalo should be on a power ranking list, if you were to ask me. And let's go on ahead and talk about what teams I think are better than Buffalo currently. Starting off with the Detroit Lions, folks, I hate to tell you, but the Detroit Lions are arguably the best team in all of football, and their defense is lights out. Even with injuries on their boundary corners, they find a way. Their coaching staff rallies their players a bit more than what this coaching staff has been doing. The Buffalo Bills are not better than the Detroit Lions. You move down and you have the Indianapolis Colts. I know that people like right now would have laughed me off of the stage if anybody were to suggest that the Indianapolis Colts would not only be the first seed in the AFC, but better than the Buffalo Bills. Folks, I got to tell you, I think that this team is better than the Buffalo Bills where it stands today. I genuinely believe that to be the case. Solid defensive football, right? Solid, efficient offensive football. And when you think about it, this Indianapolis Colts team should or is with the exact same DNA as Buffalo. Solid offensive line, solid running back, middle of the road wide receivers. And Daniel Jones has been playing good football. But when you look at how the Indianapolis Colts are structured offensively, it's the same DNA as Buffalo for the most part. Some of you might say, oh my God, it's Pittman. I mean, he's a possession wide receiver. Second wide receiver in AD Mitchell. You have Alec Pierce, of course, whatever. It's the exact same makeup, right? It's just Daniel Jones is playing more conservative football. He's not turning the football over. So we have a DNA that works. A DNA like this works. The best example of how an offense can operate with a good offensive line, a running back, and a quarterback making mistake-free football is a proven commodity in this league. And so the Kansas City Chiefs did it for years. Now they have a super wide receiving core. So with all of that speed, but Indy should serve as an example of how you can have an offense like that from a DNA perspective, and they can make it work. Oh yeah, by the way, with Tyler Warren, right? Solid rookie tight end. We have Dalton Kincaid, who's been playing very well. This Colts offense literally built, cut from the same cloth as what Buffalo is. And the advantage we have is the better quarterback. So we can make this work, folks. Trust me on that. We can make this work. so many countless examples of really how it works each and every single season. But right now I have the Indianapolis Colts better than the Bills. Have the Kansas City Chiefs. I think once they ended up getting their reinforcements back, I would say that the Kansas City Chiefs are a better football team than Buffalo. I do think that they had their slump earlier in the season. I think that we're going to have an answer to who truly is the better team next week. Of course, assuming that Buffalo beats the Panthers. But as far as Kansas City, I have Buffalo over that. As far as the Seattle Seahawks right now, no. I probably wouldn't have Buffalo better than this team as we talk right now. Solid offensive play. So with JSN, great wide receiver, it's working for them. And of course, their defense is absolutely reeling. This is where we get interesting. I do think that the Bills are better than the Green Bay Packers. So I really do. Knowing what I know from this team, I think that the Bills are better than the Green Bay Packers. I think the Bills, and so I think that the Buffalo Bills are better than the Philadelphia Eagles as well. I think the Bills are better than the Rams. I think the Bills are better than the Buccaneers. So how I look at this overall power ranking, I think if you were to ask me, I would put the Buffalo Bills at number 5. Now prove me right. Now beat a team that you should beat and go from there. It's Buffalo Bills team, man. It's Buffalo Bills team. I need to give a giant shout out to our good friends, Sleeper. Folks, Sleeper, bar none, the best player prop platform on the market today. Signing up gets you $20 just for signing up, folks. No deposit needed. If you decide to put a deposit down, they're matching it up to 100%, all the way up to $100. Simple process. Just pick 2 to 5 players, accurately predict if they are going above and or below their metrics, and you could see returns up to 1,000x your play. You do not want to miss out on Sleeper, folks. They are doing wonderful, incredible things over there. Go sign up so you don't miss out.